who would you say is the biggest threat to the Celtics in the East?
What are the Celtics searching for right now? Brad Stevens is on the market saying he needs more depth at what position? The big. Why? Not because he don't trust Rob Williams. It's because of his health issues. So when I look at the most valuable big that is in the Eastern Conference, the guy that is leading the league in scoring, I'm looking at Joel Embiid, who plays for the Philadelphia 76ers, who actually have pieces around him now, and P.J. Tucker, and guys to that nature like James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris. The list goes on. But when it comes down to Joel Embiid, if they was to face the Boston Celtics, I strongly believe that he actually could be the best player in that series, which means he could carry them past the Celtics to actually beat them in a 7-game series.
I'm not mad at it.
That's interesting, considering you're Mr. Boston and the Celtics. They also have the 5th best defense, so I think that will be an adjustment a little bit for Embiid. But we're talking about the best bigs in the East. Why don't we talk about Giannis? I know you forgot about him because he handles the ball, Mr. Perkins, or should I say Mr. Liddell. But this guy averages 32. He's already won a championship. He's already done everything pretty much. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved. The list goes on. And the Bucks overall as a team, they're just solid. I know that we're waiting and we're still waiting on Middleton's full game to really get back to where it used to be. Drew Holiday, I love him in clutch time. So on both ends, offensively, they need some work, but they still have Giannis defensively. I believe they're 3rd in the NBA. That's great.
Well, and it's scary. The Bucks are still lurking and not rounding into full form because they're still sitting right up there in that conversation at the top of the East, Jalen.
Great intellect, and both of you guys made me want to sway my argument either way.
Tiebreaker.
But I'm going to split the baby here and ride with Big Perk. And here's a process of elimination. What you didn't say about the Bucks is Chris Middleton has been coming off the bench lately.
It's true.
He hasn't played over 20 minutes recently. They're still working to try to get him back into the lineup. So until I see him be able to be that closer that they was when they won the championship, I'll have to give the Philadelphia 76ers the edge and the dominance of Embiid, the depth that they've built out. I wanted to also consider the Nets, but again, by the process of elimination, Claxton and Ben Simmons both really struggle shooting free throws, and that might be a problem for them when the playoffs come.
Right, but it seems like right now the Philadelphia 76ers, they're rounding into form at just about the right time, but the Celtics have been dependable all season long. Kyrie has led Brooklyn with 29.3 points per game since Durant's departure, as the Nets are holding at 4th in the East right now. And Kyrie, he's averaging 9.5 points in the 4th quarter this season, on pace to be the 4th highest 4th quarter scoring average over the last 25 seasons. He's dropped 20 points in the 4th quarter 4 times this year. That's tied for the most by any player over that same span. And when I talked to him about it last week, he said, you know what? This is when I just know it's winning time. This is when Kyrie does what he does. So Jalen Rose, what has impressed you most about Kyrie here?
When I watch Kyrie and Steph Curry, to be honest, sometimes it's reminiscent of what it would look like if the Harlem Globetrotters were actually playing in the league. Like, he's dazzling as a performer. It's smooth, it's effective. He could do it from 3, he could do it from the wing, he could do it from the post, half court, full court. But the thing I like that he's recently done, it's all about basketball. And I think that's what it's gonna be tonight. Before he was lighting the sage, before he was throwing the middle fingers. Now KD's out, he's embracing his leadership role. He's putting up big-time numbers, and he's putting the Nets now in position to be a legit contender, but also putting himself in position to get a long-term deal, which his talent deserves.
Sort of a renewed sense of focus there, Perk.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that Kyrie Irving is box office. We know he can score with the best of them. Hell, he's one of the best scorers to ever touch the basketball, in my opinion, or most skilled, shall I say. The thing is his leadership. Like, I'm watching him lead. I watched the last game against the New York Knicks when he first, second, and third quarter, he was dishing out the rock, getting everybody involved. And then in the 4th quarter, when it was time to show why he get paid the big bucks and why franchise players take over, he took over the game. I'm also watching him be encouraging. I'm watching him put that key, or what we call it, in Nic Claxton back and say, go ahead, big fella, I trust you. Steph Curry, be the best version of yourself. Like, playing off the ball at times, letting Jock Vaughn coach. Like, that is leadership.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to see. Remember, Kyrie Irving was the #1 pick. We just been waiting to see if he could do it.
Right. Not to mention he's averaging 34.9 points over his last 7 games. Have you seen a shift, Chiney, in Kyrie in the absence of KD?
Yeah, let's talk about X factors. Can I go to the big board and break it down?
Let's do it, sis.
Always.
Okay, let's go. Let's do this.
Teach us.
Let's take a trip. Come with me, because most people talk about KD and Kyrie, but real ones, they talk about Nic Claxton too. Most people know that Claxton leads the NBA in blocks per game at 2.7. But get this, check out this number. Let's run it. Claxton has also, where's the magic? Here's the magic. Claxton has also held his opponents to 39% shooting in his career. Emphasis on the word career. That is the lowest percentage of any player in the NBA. AKA Claxton is the best player contesting shots over the last 4 seasons. So you know what it is. Let's run me my tape producer, Rick, and producer, Jose, baby. So let's get into this. Watch him on defense. First of all, typically, when you're out here guarding a guard, this is Dennis Schroeder, when a blow-by happens, let's switch up the angles. Blow-bys, typically with posts, mean buckets. In this instance, it means blocks. That's Claxton. Now again, I love this switch. Watch here, he's guarding the ball, but he's always aware of help side. He sees that, the offensive player is open on the baseline. He reads it, and this is not just a contest, y'all. This is a shutdown. This is energy. This is renewed energy that they need, especially playing without KD. You've got to do it on both ends. And I love the buy-in that he's really galvanizing his team with on the defensive end. But it's not just about defense, because Claxton, he is becoming a prime threat in the pick and roll on offense. In such plays, he's averaging 1.32 points per possession. And he has improved at not just getting the pick and roll, but also reading the second line of the defense so that he can finish. So let's see this again. Run the tape again. Run it back, baby. All right, here's the pick and roll. He holds it well. Now watch this footwork. 2 defenders. That should be a double team. Close that up. Instead, spin move. Nice, beautiful arc on the shot. Soft finish for a guy that's really working on his shot. Now watch this dime by Kyrie. I mean, look, screens, he sees 2, releases. Oh, you fancy with it. I know James Harden right there is not steep defense, but the ability to just hit that Euro is huge. So big picture here, this guy, Nic Claxton, he's the X factor in not only his success, but also KD and Kyrie's sustained success moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That is such a good point, Chiney. When I had a chance to chat with Nic Claxton last week, he said, you know what? I've been overlooked my entire career. I was overlooked in college, in high school, and now I'm getting the chance to prove it. Even in the NBA, he had to prove that he was a starter. Remember, they had DeAndre Jordan on the team, and now you're seeing the fruits of that, especially the 2-man game that he has alongside Kyrie Irving. And remember, the Nets, they're doing all of this without Kevin Durant. So for more on KD, let's bring in our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, when might we see KD back? What is the latest on him?
Malika, I spoke with Kevin Durant's business partner and manager, Rich Kleiman, tonight. He tells me KD remains hopeful that he can return and play on All-Star weekend. He certainly wants to be a part of All-Star. That's February 19th. He likes the way his rehab is going, how he looks on the court, most importantly, how he feels. And I think for Kevin Durant to play and return and be a part of All-Star weekend, I think you would expect he'd probably need to play a game or 2 before the Nets All-Star break. They play the Knicks on the 13th and then Miami on the 15th. That's about 2 weeks away. So Rich Kleiman tells me again that Kevin Durant remains hopeful, and there is reason and optimism to believe, he can be back and be a part of All-Star Weekend later this month in Salt Lake City.
Well, and you have to imagine that that's going to be special if he's able to do that for Kevin Durant, because for the last couple of years, injuries have kept him from the All-Star game. Woj, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.